Hello everybody and welcome to lyranara.com and lyranara.me, the place where you can find the most efficient and powerful holistic diagnostics and treatment devices as well as natural remedies. And today we're going to talk about a very exciting subject, a plant that has been scientifically proven to be an amazing cancer killer that can kill up to 98% of breast cancer cells, for example, in within 16 hours only. And we're going to show you all the scientific research, and then we're going to talk about some differences between all the artemisia slash artemisinin, which is the active ingredient that fights cancer that is contained within this plant, and that you have to pay attention to, as well as give you some treatment advices that are very, very crucial to follow if you want to have success with this amazing treatment. So without further ado, let's talk about vivid artemisinin, the cancer killer. First, a little bit of background information on Artemisia. Artemisia is a plant that was first used 2000 years ago by the Chinese, who collected the green leaves and added some spring water, let the whole concoction soak overnight to an extract, and they drank it in the morning. This greenish water extract, they noticed, cured malaria as well as a bunch of other infectious diseases. Nowadays, artemisinin, which is the active ingredient of artemisia, and its synthetic derivatives are used for malaria therapy and are the best known to humans today. Therefore, it is approved and even recommended by the WHO and the FDA as the most efficient malaria treatment. And the question remains, though, how did the Chinese cure so many diseases apart from malaria, including cancer that we're going to focus on today, with only this artemisia extract thousands of years ago? So let's find out. And as I said, today we're going to focus on artemisia's amazing effects on cancer that has been discovered not too long ago scientifically. And here I'm going to cite you from some articles from scientific publications that showed the amazing results of artemisia cancer treatments. So they said that a natural artemisia extract known as artemisinin has been proven to be one of the most powerful cancer fighters. And according to studies published in Life Sciences magazine, artemisinin, which is the extract of the artemisia plant, can kill 98% of breast cancer cells in less than 16 hours. And I'm going to post a link in the description box below to this article and a study that showed this. Artemisinin, when used alone, caused a 28% reduction in breast cancer cells, but when it was paired with iron, artemisinin was able to eradicate cancer cells almost entirely without damaging the normal cells, which is exactly what unfortunately chemotherapy does. It kills the bad cells as well as the good cells. Here it's very selective. It's been proven that artemisinin attacks only the bad cells, the cancer cells. When patients receive the iron supplement, which accumulates in the breast tissue, actually in all cancerous cells, to be more precise, the artemisinin was able to selectively target the cancerous cells and leave the healthy cells untouched, which was the amazing part, apart from its efficacy. It is nowadays known that iron accumulates in cancerous cells due to special receptors that help them in cell division, and they are called transferrin receptors, and cancerous cells have them in greater abundance and thus can be targeted by the iron artemisinin combination like a 1-2 punch. There have been hundreds of experiments and studies that prove that artemisinin can effectively eradicate diseases in the presence of iron. And the malaria parasite, for example, cannot live in the presence of artemisinin because they are also, just like the cancer cells, very iron rich. But therefore, because they have such a similarity in this iron richness to cancer cells, the treatment has proven to work just as well for cancerous cells. So next, let's look at how it really works according to the newest scientific research. Until 2015, the mechanism of the action of artemisinin on destroying cancer cells was not known and not understood, but today it is, and the most widely accepted theory is that they are first activated through the cleavage of oxygen-oxygen peroxide bonds in the presence of iron oxide. And this leads to the generation of the so-called reactive oxygen species, ROS, that in turn kills the cancer cells. Wardenberg and others in 2003 first reported the cytotoxicity of artemisinin in tumor cells, and only in tumor cells, as we've mentioned already. It does not attack the healthy cells, and these tumor cells maintain a high concentration of intracellular iron to sustain the proliferation and continuous heme production. These tumor cells are also richer in transferrin, an iron transporting protein. Artemisinin removes and reacts with iron out of the cancer cells, which cannot proliferate, and the generated ROS is killing the cancer cells. This is how it works within your system. It's a wonderful natural mechanism embedded in a plant that can heal so many serious conditions, including cancer. Next, let's read what a very well-recognized medical doctor, Dr. Robert J. Rohn, had to say about his experiences with artemisia/artemisinin. He said in an article that I also gonna link in the description box below, of course, that he discovered a cancer connection when Dr. Henry Ley and Narendra Singh, bioengineering professors at the University of Washington, reported on the active agent of this Asian herb called Artemisia. Their report said the herb might provide a safe, non-toxic and inexpensive alternative for cancer patients. What he didn't realize was that artemisinin is a close cousin to oxygen therapy drugs. Chinese researchers said the key to its effects is a peroxide linkage. So two oxygen atoms hooked together, which are contained within the herb's active molecule called artemisinin. All peroxides share a common feature. In the presence of free iron, they break down to form highly reactive oxygen-based free radicals. Malaria is a parasite that infects the iron-rich red blood cells, just like cancer does. Cancer cells are very rich in iron. While the body avidly shields iron in a bound-up state, excess iron accumulates in the parasite, and the accumulation allows some iron to spill out of the bound state and become free. When artemisinin touches the iron, boom! A huge burst of free radicals is unleashed, virtually blowing up the cell harboring the free iron and destroying the parasite. Some 7 years ago, Dr. Ley, aware of the high accumulation of iron in cancer cells, wondered if this same mechanism might work in cancer cell treatment. He and his colleague Dr. Singh conducted experiments in a laboratory and documented 100% killing of breast cancer cells in some hours. To be more precise, 98% was the exact number in 16 hours only. More importantly, it left normal breast cells and white blood cells unscathed. 1 year ago, an article appeared in a major cancer journal demonstrating significant artemisinin anti-cancer activity in a wide variety of laboratory cultured cancer cells. Over 77 different cancer cells were killed by artemisinin. Cancer's resistance to common chemotherapy drugs shows no such resistance to artemisinin, nor side effects and toxicity. Artemisinin also does not have the chemical structure a cancer cell requires to develop resistance. And this was reported in the International Journal of Oncology. And I'm going to post, of course, the link to this article as well in the description box below, so you can check it out for yourself. So let's look next a little bit deeper into Dr. Henry Ley's approach. And he is widely recognized as one of the main initiators in the research on cancer of artemisia/artemisinin, and here is what he had to say in the abstract of his study. Artemisinin reacts with iron to form free radicals that kill cancer cells. Since cancer cells uptake relatively large amounts of iron than normal cells, they are more susceptible to the toxic effect of artemisinin. In previous research, we have shown that artemisinin is more toxic to cancer cells than to normal cells. In the present research, we chemically attach iron-carrying plasma glycoprotein transferrin to artemisinin. Transferrin is transported into cells via a receptor-mediated endocytosis, and cancer cells express significantly more transferrin receptors on their cell surface and endocytose more transferrin than normal cells. Thus, we hypothesize that by tagging artemisinin to transferrin, both iron and artemisinin would be transported into cancer cells in one package. Once inside a cell, iron is released and can readily react with artemisinin close by tag to the transferrin. This would enhance the toxicity and selectivity of artemisinin towards cancer cells. Professor Ley then tested the compound on a human leukemia cell line and normal human lymphocytes. He found that holotransferrin tagged artemisinin, when compared with non-tagged artemisinin, was very potent and selective in killing cancer cells. Thus, this tagged artemisinin could potentially be developed into an effective chemotherapeutic agent for cancer treatment. And this abstract, of course, I'm going to also link in the description box below. It was called Effects of Artemisinin-Tagged Holotransferrin on Cancer Cells, as it was published in Life Sciences magazine in this edition that is indicated here. And of course, as I said, you can read the whole study by yourself. I'm going to post a link in the description box. Next, let's listen to Dr. Henry Ley, or Ley himself. He's from the University of Washington, and he performed all of the studies that we talked about. And here's a short presentation of his results.
Well, my name is Henry Ley. I'm with bioengineering department. I'm going to give a talk on use of a compound called artemisinin for cancer treatment, and also for possibly it can be used as an antibacterial or antifungal compound. We have been working with this compound for almost, I think, more than 10 years now with Dr. Singh, who's sitting right here. I guess the first paper we published was 1995, so 10 years now. This was the first experiment we did in 1994. We took two types of cells, human leukemia cells, they're called Mo4 cells, and normal lymphocyte, human lymphocyte. These are Dr. Singh's lymphocyte, actually. Should be very normal. So we, on the upper graph, I'm not going to go into detail. These are the cell counts over time, 8 hours, and the cell counts from beginning, 100%. Now, if we put holotransferrin, which is the iron, as I said, that transport iron into cells, and then we incubate the cell with artemisinin, you can kill, this is a cancer cell, you can kill almost 100% of them within 8 hours. Now, the lower graph is the normal cells. You kill about 50% at this concentration of 200 micromolar. Now, you can do a dose response, different doses, and then what's left at 8 hours. And from there, you can calculate the LD50. That means the dosage that you kill 50% of the cell. That's how you compare the effectiveness of toxicity of a compound. What we found is that the artemisinin is approximately 100 times more potent in killing leukemia cells than normal cells. So this is a very good therapeutic index. 100 times, you need 100-fold more artemisinin to kill normal cells than cancer cells. Now, this is the experiment on human leukemia cells. We also did another experiment on human breast cancer cells and normal breast cells. We found the same thing. At this time, it's even better. The human breast cancer cell die completely after 16 hours. Nothing happened almost. Very, very small change in the normal breast cells. So this activity is even higher in breast cancer cells. So And then after our experiment, there were several experiments done on the potency of artemisinin on different types of cancer cells. Actually, there was an experiment done over Fred Hutch in the I think it's 2000 or 2001. They published a paper. They tested about 15 types of cancer cells, human cancer cells, and they found that it's very effective. So artemisinin is very effective against cancer cells. It's effective at low dose. The dose that kills 50% is 2 micromolar for leukemia cells. There's little side effect. I will tell you later about this is what happened to animals. It can be taken orally, and it's a good side, and it's inexpensive. In the US, you can buy a 100 milligrams capsule for about 75 cents, but you can also buy the same thing in China for about 10 cents. That's enough dose for at least in rats. 100 milligram, equivalent about 1 to 2 milligram per kilogram per day is effective in animal for treatment of cancer. We also done an experiment on cancer prevention. So you know that the cancer you have a cancer cell, the cancer cell starts to divide and become a tumor. Can you catch the certain cancer cell and kill the cancer cell before it becomes a big tumor? So we did that. In this experiment, we induced cancer in animal, breast cancer in animals, in rats. And then we feed the animal, we put some artemisinin in the food, 0.04%. This is a very low amount. And they start to eat. And then we just measure how many animals develop breast cancer. This is the animal that's the control animal. Almost all of them develop cancer within 40 weeks. And the control pick up slowly, and only 50% of the animal develop cancer. And when you look at this animal developed multiple breast cancer, and the controls the white bar, the open bar, and the filled bar, the artemisinin-fed animal. And number of tumor in the animal, there's less multiple tumor in the animal eating artemisinin. And also the size, they're smaller. The size of the tumor, the total volume of the tumor is also smaller when you feed the animal with artemisinin. So I think it's quite promising. And we also have animals that we feed them this 0.04%. It's about 8 milligram per kilogram. You can calculate that. For 40 weeks, we have not seen any side effects in the animals. So as I said, the side effect is very, very minimal. And of course, as I said, 2 million people have used artemisinin as an anti-malarial. And nobody so far have reported any side effect. But of course, when you treat the malaria, it only takes about 5 days. And in this case, you have to use artemisinin for a very long period of time.
Very impressive results that Dr. Lai is presenting here, as I'm sure you will agree. But if you're still not 100% convinced, let's go back to Dr. Robert J. Rowan, and he kindly put up a paper describing his experiences with Artemisia/artemisinin after he read about the research of Dr. Henry Lai and others. And he was kind enough to provide also some testimonials about some stories that he had with his patients. And he starts off by saying that there is now a herb I can recommend wholeheartedly that's safe and can be used at home and in conjunction with doctor-administered therapies. This isn't just a supplement to help build your immune system, opposite to GCMAF and Gallaic, which is a typical immune system booster. This herb extract aggressively fights cancer. Just how effective is it? Let me introduce you to Donald, a 47-year-old mechanic who is in great shape. He had a newly diagnosed lymphoma and came to see me just after his oncologist had biopsied the tumor. There was an ugly egg-sized mass on the left side of his head with a gaping hole from the biopsy and an angry redness from inflammation. I immediately put him on a derivative of artemisinin, and he took it for 2 weeks. At the end of that time, the lump developed a little depression in the center, but the perimeter had grown just slightly. Dejected that it didn't significantly regress, he elected to stop further use of the product and take a wait-and-see approach. 4 weeks later, I received a call from Donald. The tumor was gone. Returning with his wife and a big smile a few days later, I couldn't believe my eyes. The skin was smooth, no mass was present, and the angry redness was fading fast. And Dr. Robert J. Rowan was kind enough to provide 2 other testimonials. At about the same time, he says, I continue to follow a long-term patient, a 47-year-old female with stage 4 breast cancer. Diane was diagnosed only 2 years before with the promise of we got it all at her mastectomy. When she came to me, she had developed metastasis in her spine, which caused her to limp. A cancer-induced fracture in her vertebrae gave her significant pain and prevented her from performing the duties of her job. All the conventional doctors could offer was full-dose chemotherapy at a horrific toll on the quality of her life, but they also confided honestly that there was no hope it would lead to a cure. She chose alternatives instead, receiving insulin potentation therapy, IPT, high-dose nutritional therapy, dietary changes, dendritic cell vaccine, multi-step oxygen therapy, and more. All of her symptoms regressed, but the CT showed no change in her cancer. After a short course of artemisinin derivatives, she reported back to me that physically she couldn't tell she had ever had cancer. She felt totally well. The CT scan showed regression, but there was no way to tell if the remaining lesion was a tumor or healing scar tissue. Results like this, with absolutely no toxicity, are simply amazing by any standards, conventional or unconventional. Carol, another patient, came to see me with an unsightly, massive, open and oozing cancer engulfing what had been her whole left breast. She had been fighting the cancer for 2 years and convinced on her own that doing conventional therapy was a death sentence. She explored nearly every option she could. She started artemisinin and sent me photos 1 month later showing exceptional healing. I think that should do it for scientific proof that artemisinin really works. Unfortunately, and this is a very important point that we need to talk about, not all artemisinin extracts available on the market today are equal. Some of them are very powerful, like the ones you can get at lyronara.me, and we're gonna explain to you why some of them work and some of them don't, so be very, very careful with what you buy. First problem is the bioactivity of artemisinin. Artemisinin is a major bioactive component present in the Artemisia herbal preparation, but it is not the only one. Flavonoids found in the green leaves are synergizing with artemisinin and have shown a variety of biological supportive activities against malaria as well as cancer. These flavonoids contained in the Artemisia leaves have been linked to the suppression of the so-called CYP450 enzymes that are responsible for altering the absorption and metabolism of artemisinin in your body, but also have been linked to a beneficial immunomodulatory activity in subjects that are afflicted with parasitic and chronic diseases or cancer that we are talking about here. Thus, Artemisia annua natural extracts are significantly more effective to treat these parasitic diseases such as malaria and toxoplasmosis, as well as viral infections such as HIV, Epstein-Barr, herpes, hepatitis B or C, Lyme, and cancer. Another major problem related to artemisinin therapy is the low water solubility and low bioactivity of artemisinin. which is only at about the maximum 1 to 2%. As well as its instability due to oxidation of the peroxide groups when they are exposed to air, and the low artemisinin concentration in the Artemisia plant itself. Today there is a shortage therefore of potent artemisinin extracts, and therefore the pharma industry of course has jumped in and has developed artificial products such as artesunate, which are free and to be used in alternative cancer therapy, but unfortunately don't show the same great results as natural extracts, and we will see why. Because of all these problems that we've discussed, we recommend that you only take the artemisinin extract that you can purchase from lyra-nara.me, and of course I'm going to post a link in the description box below, because it's unparalleled. First of all, it is a natural extract. It's not a synthetic artemisinin derivative like the pharma industry offers you, which is much more powerful, and this has been proven also in scientific studies. It does not contain any additives, and contrary to all other semi-synthetic artemisia derivatives, artesunate, ether, etc., that the pharma industry offers you, which are loaded with additives, of course. Our unique extraction method produces also a unique concentration in artemisinin of more than 25%, with an unbeatable bioactivity of over 98%, and this is truly unparalleled so far. All of the other alcohol or glycerin-based extracts that are commercially available contain a maximum of 0.5 to 2% of artemisinin, and our extract contains 25%. Big difference there. Our extract also contains not only the artemisinin in a 25 times more concentrated form, but more importantly, it contains and carries all the other natural compounds of the Artemisia plant, like the flavonoids, that have been proven to make this plant such a powerful medicine, as they all work synergistically. Our extraction method also enables to retain all of the plant's powerful natural ingredients in their unoxidized form. And you will clearly see this by the color here in the picture on the right. It is grassy green, while all the other available extracts have a brownish color, indicating that the ingredients have oxidized and are therefore not very powerful anymore. Big difference there. And all the other over-the-counter capsules or powder products sold as artemisinin show a very poor bioactivity therefore. First, all the flavonoids have not been extracted together with the artemisinin, so it doesn't have this rich bouquet of ingredients that work synergistically with each other and enhance each other. And then it, through the processing, the artemisinin has decomposed its peroxide groups, so it is already oxidized. That's why it has these brownish colors in most extracts that you can get on the market today. And thus its bioactivity, unfortunately, is completely lost. Very important, buy the right kind of artemisinin to have the effects that Dr. Lai and his colleagues talked about and discovered in their research, because all the other available ones, we've tried them, and you can try them by yourself if you don't believe us. They don't work because they're oxidized, because they don't contain all the ingredients of the plant, because they have a very, very low concentration of artemisinin in them, and all of these reasons together make them unfortunately not very powerful, and you will not get the results that Dr. Lai is talking about. Only with artemisinin extract that you can purchase exclusively, and I mean exclusively, you can get it nowhere else at lyra-nara.me. Next, let's talk about how to use this artemisinin extract that you can get from us. The Vivid Artemisinin extract comes in 25 milliliter bottles. Once you open the bottle, the product must be kept refrigerated. Open bottles can be stored in dark places at room temperature or in the fridge. The number of bottles necessary to heal your cancer depends on your health condition, how far advanced your cancer is, co-infections, tissue damages, and the stage of your cancer as mentioned. Minimum quantity is 21 bottles for a period of 21 days. 1 bottle per day. This is realistic for early stages of cancer, so stages 1 or 2. For stages 3 and 4, or after chemotherapy and radiation therapy, 42 bottles are recommending. They will cover you for 42 days of cancer therapy with a pausing time for extra tests and evaluation of the patient health afterwards. As it is non-toxic, the therapy can be repeated if necessary until full remission occurs after a pause of 3 further weeks. The preparation is you take 125 ml bottle per day and you split it into 4 equal portions, each of 6.25 mils of course, or 100 drops. And you dissolve it in 2 to 4 ounces of distilled chilled water. Each fresh portion must be consumed immediately in order for it not to oxidize, or in maximum 10 minutes. Take each portion during the day, 2 hours before or after your meal, and the last portion must be at 8 p.m. Very important also for successful therapy is to secure a high level of iron, ferritin, which works as a catalyst for artemisinin and is vital for its enhanced bioactivity, as Dr. Lai also found out in his research and explained very well. Usually women must be close to 200 and men close to 400 Ng ferritin per milliliter of blood. The supplementation with iron can be continuing during the therapy using Floradix, and this must be taken in the evening before you go to bed. Another point that you have to pay attention to while you're performing any type of cancer therapy is that cancer patients show a very high toxicity, and therefore it is crucial to help your body detox. And here we have also some recommendation for you. First, you can take melatonin. It's a good brain detox product specifically for mercury that is stored in the brain. You can take every evening melatonin with 5 HTP, and it will help you also sleep much better. Silicic acid is a very good detoxifying agent for aluminum that is stored in your gastrointestinal system. Chlorella, zeolite, cilantro, as well as propolis must be taken daily for detox purposes. Elimination of heavy metals is also supported and facilitated by elimination of EMF. And here you can use our VitaChip, so electromagnetic fields here. VitaChip works really well to shield you against electromagnetic fields, and the Triomed CGI to protect yourself from electrosmog is also great. You can also use the Bioscan SWA to determine your daily level of homotoxins, heavy metals, minerals, and vitamins, as well as amino acids and the body fluid state. And all these parameters are changing during the therapy, so you have to monitor them day by day. And Bioscan SWA is a great device to do that with. Also the Geno 62. It's a sound and ultrasound vibrational therapy device that adjusts your body's biochemistry. It balances your autonomous nervous system and your brain waves. And we also recommend using the Aquatone Advance, as it accelerates the division of fibroblasts, inhibits the growth of prostate tumors, slows also down the growth of melanoma, significantly increases the anti-tumor effect on cancerous cells when you use it together with mitoxantrone that is used to treat metastatic breast cancer, acute myeloid leukemia, and non-Hodgkin's lymphomas. It improves also the survival rate of children that are suffering from acute lymphoblastic leukemia relapse. And all of these devices, except for the supplements like melatonin, silicic acid, etc. But the Aquatone, the VitaChip, the Triomed CGI, as well as the Bioscan SWA and the Geno 62, you can get them all at lyranara.com, and I'm going to post links in the description box below to all of them. And you should also support your cancer therapy with artemisinin by taking some additional supportive herbs. First up is Smilex glabra. It's a modulator of your immune response. It has neuroprotective crossing brain barrier, it is a pain relief, it improves your liver function, and it reverses your cognitive impairment. Endographis paniculata is indicated for rapid excretion over the kidneys, protects your heart muscle, is anti-inflammatory, calming. It's a potent modulator on mast cells and neutrophils, enhances liver function. It's a significant protection. It has a significant protection effect against neurodegeneration of the brain, the spinal cord, the CSF. It also is a great support therapy against malaria, leptospirosis, hepatitis B, C, tuberculosis, tonsillitis, pneumonia, herpes viruses, mumps, gum disease, AIDS, cancer, and leukemia. We also recommend taking red root. It's very efficient for lymph drainage and it has antimicrobial effects in your lymphatic system. It's also indicated to treat Babesia, Ehrlichia, and Anaplasma. We also recommend taking Japanese knotweed. It stimulates the fibroblasts. It's also indicated for leptospirosis therapy. Treponema denticola, Bartonella. It's antiviral. It's good for hepatitis B and C. It's anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial. It protects against microbial endotoxins. It increases your microcirculation, decreases your blood viscosity. It lowers the cholesterol and lipids, increases wound healing capabilities. It is an angiogenesis modulator. It's a potent antioxidant. It inhibits prostaglandin E as well as nuclear factor kappa B. It's good for leukemia, psoriasis, positive effects also against Alzheimer, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and ALS. It reduces autoimmune reactions, it's neuroprotective, increases your bone mass, it has anti-aging effects, and it's also used to treat rheumatoid arthritis as well as leukemia. Rock rose is also great. It's indicated to break cysts, opens biofilms. It has an antimicrobial and very healing effect. Stevia, Rhabaudinia, whole leaf extract has a better therapy efficiency than any of the antibiotics that are used for eliminating spirochetes and parasites, so greatly recommended as well. And also take into consideration astragalus, samenta, cumanda, berber, nettle, parsley extract, allicin, dragon's blood, cat's claw, oregano tea, as well as citridiol. All great herbs that will support your cancer therapy. So there you have it, Artemisia/artemisinin, the most powerful cancer killer, natural cancer killer without any side effects known to man today. But as we talked about, not all artemisinin extracts are the same. Most of them don't really work because they are oxidized, they don't have a high enough concentration, they don't contain all of the ingredients of the plant. That's why we recommend taking only the artemisinin, vivid artemisinin extract that you can get exclusively at lyranara.me. It's a proven cancer killer, as you have seen, for scientific research, and can be used at home with no risk of side effects, as also Dr. Lai mentioned in his presentation, of course. The healing power of our vivid artemisinin is a result of a very high concentration in the extracted artemisinin, which is over 25% compared to 0.5 only to maximum 2% in most available other extracts and tablets. Another reason why our vivid artemisinin is so powerful is because of the synergistic effects between the artemisia's natural ingredients, which are co-extracted. In our vivid artemisinin extract, the peroxide bonds are also perfectly preserved due to our unique, gentle, and efficient extraction process that is patent pending. For therapy, we recommend for stage 1 to 2 21 days of therapy with 1 bottle daily. for 3 to 4, 42-day therapy with 1 bottle daily. And during the therapy with Vivid Artemisinin, iron intake must be high so that there is enough iron as a catalyst in your body, as Dr. Ley also explained. The mechanism how Vivid Artemisinin works is peroxide bonds available in the Vivid Artemisinin are cleaved in the presence of iron that works as a catalyst. And this process is selectively taking place only in the tumor cells. So there is no toxicity to your healthy cells. This makes artemisinin really unique. And the generated reactive oxygen species are the cancer cell killers. And our Vivid Artemisinin has an unparalleled bioactivity of over 98%, and only this extract, all the other ones on the market today have a much lower bioactivity. We present to you here in this presentation a total cancer treatment concept that will bring your cancer into total remission, as you have seen also from the testimonials. But only if you take our unique Vivid Artemisinin, we can make those claims due to the mentioned reasons. There's over 70 different cancer types that have been so far successfully treated with artemisinin. 2,000 years ago, Artemisia extract was used to heal malaria, and this product is still used today for over 50 different infection and cancer treatments. Over 40,000 publications so far from renowned universities such as Washington University, where Dr. Ley is working, have been published so far, and they all demonstrated an extremely powerful effects of artemisinin on many illnesses, including cancer that we focus on today. Please call us for more details or guidance, 1-888-773-3196, or contact us at shop@lyranara.com. I'm going to post, of course, all the links in the description box below. We also, of course, recommend that you consult with your health practitioner before starting any therapy. This is just for informational purposes. And until next time, I hope that you remain healthy and see and hear from you soon.